Welcome to continuing coverage of the GAC Volleyball Media Day. We hit the halfway point with team number 6 with Henderson State with Coach Phil McDaniel and Kaitlyn Sykes. Coach, as we have with everybody else, we just kind of get an opening comment on how the fall has started for you, and then we'll fire some questions at you and Kaitlyn. So we'll turn it over to you. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us. We appreciate it. It's always a great opportunity to talk volleyball and to talk about what's going on in our gym. And, things are going well so far. We've been here for just over a week now and school started. So back to regular practices and no more 2-a-days. So I'm sure they're all happy about that. But we're off and rolling and ready to go. First scrimmage next week.
Coach, it's always good to get to visit with you. I appreciate the time, but also the wisdom you always bring and your wealth of knowledge. It's fun to get to hear you speak. You in the last 3 full seasons, the program has had 21 seasons each of those years. I know you're heading into your 6th year right now, but there has been a consistency and the bar has been raised at Henderson State.
Well, that's been the goal. Ever since I interviewed here, that was one of the things that I put down on my sheet as far as what I wanted to accomplish here and the way I wanted the program to develop, and players have bought in. They're working hard. We've continued to like kind of, as you mentioned, grow the program every year a little bit. And, part of that is a lot of the group of, the group sitting next to me with Kaitlyn here coming in and a lot of her classmates and credit to her and her teammates to learn to play with new people, to come in and contribute when they're ready and to bring those new people along so that when their number's called, they're ready to go.
Finished 6th in the league last year, picked 6th in the preseason ranking this season. So that's probably appropriate. It was mentioned in the last segment that it seems like that there are different teams among the top each year in the Great American Conference, which makes part of it fun. Of course, the league seems to get better all the time anyway. What steps does it take then to take the Reddies to be one of those teams that's up near the top again this year?
There is great parity in the conference. I mean, I don't want to correct you, but I think we're picked 5th this year. Okay. So I don't want to.
You are right. I'm sorry. I apologize. I was thinking about this. I apologize.
No, you're good.
I sit corrected.
I certainly we'll take every little step that we can get there. So, for us, I think it's great competition. Top to bottom. There's always the great competition and a lot of just matches you go into that it's a coin flip. That if just depends on who's playing well that night, and of course everybody's going to have injuries to go through and work through, but it's been fun to see the overall development of the conference from year one when I got here, when we were one of those bottom teams, to now climbing and hopefully staying in that top 5 and 6 every year. And what we need to do is we've got to knock off some of those teams that are picked ahead of us and pull off some surprises. And then on the flip side of that, we have to beat the teams that on paper we're supposed to be, and of course paper doesn't mean much, but it's we have to do that to hold our ranking and then hopefully knock off a few above us to get to that top tier.
Well, I was teasing Coach Josh Collins a little bit earlier as today's his birthday,
Good.
But I may have to put the readers on myself to look at my notes a little bit better. Kaitlyn, one thing I do know for sure, 120 blocks last season. Now that's a number that's committed to memory. What a fantastic job that you do on defense. Talk about your play and what it's meant to, first off, just playing for the Reddies.
Thank you. I've enjoyed my time very much playing for the Reddies. I feel like I've grown as a player here. Thank you about the block compliment. We worked very hard on that last season. That was a big part of our practice plan. And as you see, it worked out very well for us in games. It's one of my favorite things to do in general. Yes.
Well, that's okay. Stay there for just a second then, because that's really something that's good to hear when you say, hey, listen, not only is it a number that's good, but you enjoy doing that. So does that mean there's a little more extra effort that's put into that particular part of your game?
Oh, of course. I love to focus on my blocking at any time. I think I'm about 40 blocks away, solo blocks too, for being like 10th in Henderson State history. I read the other day, and that was a big motivation because I had 41 solo blocks last season. So it's always a goal to progress and get better in whatever way I can.
I'll stay with you just a little bit longer, Kaitlyn. Talk about them playing within the league. It has become a stronger league, and there is parity within that. You get to see some of these teams more than once, as well as getting an opportunity to compete in the conference tournament there in Hot Springs. Talk about playing the GAC.
I enjoy playing the GAC. Like Coach said earlier, it can really be a toss-up each season which teams are competing. I enjoy playing, in general, I just enjoy playing in the GAC. I enjoy the level of competition. I love that we're right across the street from OBU. I think that brings a lot of people to the games, which in turn hypes us up and lets us enjoy playing even more.
And I think along with that, we picked up some other rivals that maybe we haven't been rivals with in the past. And so I think that just amps up the competition a little bit. It makes it a little more special when we get those wins.
Yes.
You also, or Coach mentioned that 2 days wrapped up. What's the one drill you're glad is behind you after 2 days being over?
Oh, that's a great question. Really, it wasn't even a drill. It was the running we would do before we started practice. We have a conditioning test called the 300. It's 6 down and backs in 65 seconds, 3-minute break, then another 6 down and backs in 75 seconds. And we started that 6:45 a.m. sharp every morning. I think that's my favorite part, being behind us.
I get to sleep in a little bit, and she's run her last one, so she doesn't have to run that test anymore. So.
Yes.
Well, Coach, as you guys prepare for the season, you get to one of the few that gets to open at home. Just speak to the benefits of having your first 4 matches there in the friendly confines as opposed to having to schedule a bus and hotels.
Sure. It's always fun because for this year, we're the first event on campus. So not only are we the first, we get to play at home, but we're the first athletic event. So we should have a good crowd. We're certainly hoping so. We have some solid teams coming in. And we obviously get to co-host that with OBU across the street. So we're able to bring in a larger number of teams, which just makes the event that much better for us. And hopefully parents get to come in and get to know one another, get to know the new parents that are part of the group. And we start off the season with a few wins, we hope.
And you follow up with a trip to Kentucky. What was the connection there, or how did you guys find yourselves into that tournament?
We went there last year and had a good event for us. It's a good opportunity for us to get a few of our kids they're from a little bit east of us back a little closer to home. This year they're actually putting it into the convention center, so it's going to be even a better event as far as we're not going to be in a small gym like we were last year. It was a little bit crowded last year the way it was set up, but this year we're going to have plenty of space. It's kind of a nice trip, and again, a lot of our players don't spend a lot of time going to Kentucky. We have a lot of Texas kids, and so we want to go home, take them home too, but get them to see some places that maybe they don't get to see on a regular basis.
Kaitlyn, what are your memories of Kentucky? Was it your first time to there, and what do you remember about that trip?
Kentucky. I just remember it being very good competition. Very good competition. I think it definitely made us stronger as a team. It helped us work out quirks early. And overall we had fun. We thought it was very good for us.
And then, coaches, as you are becoming more seasoned in this league, just kind of where have you seen it evolve and change and grow as from when you entered?
Obviously you get new coaches come in every year to some extent, and so we got a few new ones this year. So always good to see new people come in to see what they're going to do with that program, see what changes they're going to make. But I've seen us be more competitive in the region, and that's the biggest compliment I can give to everybody in the conference is we're way more competitive in the region than my first year here, top to bottom. And so we're winning more matches. Even if we're not winning some of the matches, we're more competitive. We're staying competitive with teams that have traditionally been ranked higher than us in the region, whether that's in MIAA or Northern Sun, competition. It's been good to see us start to chip away at some of those teams that in the past maybe we haven't really been able to even touch or haven't really been given much competition to.
Coach, you talked about having maybe develop some new rivalries as well. And I would imagine that something like that really only happens when you've won some games
True.
Against maybe some programs that the team wasn't winning games again prior, but they recognize that your team has stepped it up. Can you talk about that and what that means then?
Absolutely. I think, you're always going to have those in-state rivalries, maybe a little more prevalent because we play them twice. I think for a long period of time here, people would beat us regularly. So I don't think there was that competition. And now like you said, we've gotten a few wins. So I think, us and Tech is always a good match. Us and Harding has become a good match. So it's been fun to see those rivalries develop. And it's not just a day that they can take off anymore when they come play us, where I think for a while there it was, I think as every program goes up and down, when the program is down for a little bit, I think sometimes, those rivalries go away. But like you said, when you start making some noise and start winning some matches here and there, gaining confidence in our players as well too, now they go into those matches with the expectation that not only can we compete, but we can win.
Coach, one person that has not been mentioned, especially in this preview, is Violetta. Just what does she bring back to you for this team? And just how do you plan on seeing her role expand here in 22?
Sure. She's going to continue to have a big role for us. She'll be a senior. That this will be her last year as well too. And so she's got hands on a little bit of everything as far as passing, blocking, attacking, and defense. So she's going to have a big role for us. She's a little dinged up right now, so we're hoping that we get her back early on in the season. And I'm not giving away any crazy secrets people are going to see on video right away that she's a little dinged up. So when she gets back on the court 100%, she wants to finish out her senior season with every opportunity she can have, and to help get us to that conference championship.
And lastly, Kate, as you've now gone through this league 3 times, two that look more normal than others, and one back in the spring of 21. On the road trips, who are you sitting by when you get a first chance at it? Who are you rooming with? And who are you maybe not so maybe for whatever habits may be there, you want to maybe your music clashes or styles don't clash up. Who are you maybe not choosing first to be your sitting next to you on a bus?
Luckily, we're all a pretty close-knit team here. I usually stick to my middles group. We're always together in practice for the most part, so I feel like we're just going to mesh better. But I really don't have anybody on the team that I wouldn't even choose to sit next to. Everybody's like very calm, our personalities, and if they don't mesh on the day, you know what I mean? Put in your headphones, do your work for that time.
Well, Joe, if there's anything else for you.
No, just success to you all this season. Looking forward to getting to see you all back on the court again.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Certainly appreciate it. Last thing I'd like to mention, which I know that you guys may not be aware of. So we had a longtime coach here who first started the program back in the 70s, Coach Betty Wallace. She just passed away within the last month. And so we're going to carry her with us throughout the season and beyond this. But just wanted to get that out to everybody, just that she's still with us in spirit. We're going to miss her a ton. She was still lived in town here and had still come to matches for years and years and years. And so we're certainly going to miss her, and we're going to do our part to honor her this year. And hopefully we win enough matches that, she'll be cheering us on and be proud of how we finish this year.
Well, thank you for bringing her up. She has a long lasting legacy there in Henderson State. Coach, and Kaitlyn, thank you very much for joining us here. Best of luck to the Reddies this fall. And again, thanks for taking the time.
Absolutely. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.